Hello, fellow wars. Welcome back to FanZcene. Greg here, and today I have for you Clint Eastwood throws shade at modern Hollywood, specifically the remakes and the franchise movies that basically populate modern Hollywood, because that's all Hollywood is today. It's all just IPs, franchises, and remakes, and it's in a very sad state of affairs. It's gone downhill massively. Not that Hollywood was, ever a really good place, but there was some good creative movies and entertainment come out there. But Clint Eastwood, God bless him, he's 95 years old. He's one of the greatest living directors and actors of any era of Hollywood. And he just recently did this interview, and Variety reported on him, which I'm going to bring up this article right here from Variety. It says Clint Eastwood plans to direct new movie at 95. Shades era of remakes and franchises. Do something new or stay at home. I absolutely love that. Do something new or stay at home. And I'm not going to argue here and lie to you guys. I am a fan of franchises. I think the biggest problem here is when I get into it, I'll give you more thoughts on that. Like I like Superman. I'm kind of burnt out on pretty much Marvel and everything else, but I like Superman. I'm looking forward to see if possibly this new one will be good and stuff. But I won't. I like the original Star Wars. I like the original Indiana Jones. I like the Back to the Futures. Franchise movies from the past. The franchise movies from today just seem to be overabundant, and yes, too many remakes. But let's get into this and what he says, and I'll give you guys my thoughts as we go along. It says, in a recent sit-down with Austria-based publication Courier, Eastwood, who turns 95 on Saturday, in the making of this video, he has already turned 95, it's past Saturday, he shared that he is currently in pre-production for his next film. He added that fans don't have to worry about his retirement for a long time. I like that. Him and Tom Cruise, right? The last remaining true Hollywood people, Clint Eastwood and Tom Cruise. They're like, they can't be topped. Nobody has come close to them at all lately. It says, there's no reason why a man can't get better with age. I agree with that, Eastwood said, and I have much more experience today. Sure, there are directors who lose their touch at a certain age, but I'm not one of them. Good old Clint. I love that. I love that. Now let's get into the heart of this story, because it's not a very long article, as you see there. But let's get into this, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. It says, when asked about the current state of film, the Unforgiven director said he missed the days when theaters weren't overbooked with remakes, sequels, and adaptations of existing IP. Exactly. And it says, I long for the good old days when screenwriters wrote movies like Casablanca and Small Bungalows on the studio lot, when everyone had a new ideal, he said. We live in an era of remakes and franchises. I've shot sequels 3 times, but I haven't been interested in that for a long while. My philosophy is do something new or stay at home. I love that. I love that he said that and everything. Yeah, I'm like you said, I don't mind a sequel. I don't mind a franchise here and there if it's something I really love and it can continue the entertainment value of all. But he's right. In today's day and age, all the theaters and everything it's all franchises, IPs, and remakes or sequels. And I think something I've been thinking about here lately is like how we've always sort of had these franchises and sequels, remakes, and all that, but there was a time when those would be like reserved for the summer season, right? And they would be a certain point at time when they would come out, and for in between, you would get those like smaller budget creative movies like Casablanca or something, where somebody had a great idea and you get a small independent comedy or an independent drama or an independent action movie, or not just independent, but also these like studio driven, smaller budget action comedies, horror movies, and stuff like that. And in today's day and age, every single thing that is released, I mean, you'd think it would be a nerd's dream, but it's really not a nerd's dream, because nerd culture never should have gone mainstream, because this is what happened. Nerd culture went mainstream, so now everything has to be geared towards some kind of big franchise, some kind of big superhero movie, action movie, epic sci-fi thing, and geared towards like what they perceive as nerds nowadays, because everybody's a nerd nowadays. And then they also, they got to do the check marks of, oh, it's got to have diversity, inclusion, this, and there's no original ideas. And I would argue with Clint Eastwood here that a lot of those people that he's talking about who would sit and have these ideals, new ideals, and on the back lot and everything, they're in independent film. I've talked to a bunch of independent directors and creators and stuff. The thing is, like I've just mentioned, how the studios and independent films would come out in between the big franchises. These guys that are creating these new, original, fresh ideals in independent film, they're working hard. They're doing it all themselves, raising the funds, directing, writing, editing, and they're doing the like circuit, the festival circuit to win awards and everything, because they're really not getting love from Hollywood, because Hollywood only cares about these franchises and big budget IPs and sequels and remakes and everything. So these independent filmmakers are creating these new, fresh, original ideals, are getting them out there, and then eventually they're getting them onto like either physical media or in some cases, Tubi, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not putting that down, but I know these filmmakers want to have their work seen as much as possible. And I think that's what's really going on with Hollywood here. And I think Clint Eastwood has the right ideal. Is either, make something new or go home. I do think there's room for franchises and original movies and stuff. It's just we've been oversaturated with them for so long, and that's all they do, because it's Hollywood thinks that's what they got to make it, and they can make money that way. And they're starting to lose steam. As I mean, you can tell by the box offices each year, these movies are starting to lose steam, and people are wanting original movies. And some new original movies are succeeding, and some of them aren't. Hollywood doesn't understand what they've done to the people, and how it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. We've covered here a lot. But let's continue with the article here, and I'll close it out. It says Eastwood went on to say that his upbringing in the old system of Hollywood forced him to constantly evolve as an artist and be vigilant for the next great movie ideal. As an actor, I was still under contract with a studio, was in the old system, and thus forced to learn something new every year, Eastwood explained. And that's why I'll work as long as I can, still learning something, or until I'm truly senile. I will take that off there, and I like that he said that, because yes, you can still learn. Speaking of age, it's never too late to keep learning and keep growing and still working. If you want to work, trust me, I foresee myself retiring when I get older, but also I don't want to just be lounging around and everything like that, right? I mean, I want to keep learning. I want to keep my mind growing. I want to keep going. I want to keep working. And I think Clint Eastwood and Tom Cruise, for that matter, both those guys, opposite ends of the spectrum on what they do, but they so close to what they are, because they're like the last true remaining vigils, whatever you want to call them, of what Hollywood used to be, of how to treat the fans, of how to make movies, of how to promote them, how to market them, how to come up with something. Tom Cruise, 8 Mission Impossibles, but like with Clint Eastwood, he still legitimately is making original movies. Are they always being, in today's day and age with Hollywood, they don't really like Clint Eastwood as much as they once did, which is sad, because, I mean, look what they did with his movie Juror Number 2. Not a lot of people saw that, because it kind of didn't, just kind of swept it under the rug and everything. And that's a sad day and age for somebody like Clint Eastwood, right? But he's still out there. He's still going. He's still making movies. And I do like it, is if you're not going to create something new, stay home. Go home, right? I do miss those days of great movies that would come out through the decades. I think the 90s was the last true decade for a film, where it was a nice blend of independents, comedies, action dramas, excuse me, and franchise IPs. Today everything is a franchise IP. Today everything is genre this, genre that, because they think that's the only thing that sells. And like I said, you'd think that would be a nerd's dream. It's really not. It's really killing them, because they're not what we once imagined. They've changed them. They perverted them. They diversified them into something that is not what we fell in love with. And I mean, I'm so glad that Clint Eastwood is still out there and going to make original movies. But let me know you guys' thoughts and comments down below in the comment section about all of this, and your thoughts and feelings on what Clint Eastwood said and about originality in Hollywood. And also, if you liked what you saw here, maybe consider hitting that like button or subscribing, hitting that bell for notification. That'd be awesome if earn your guys' subscriptions, or possibly share the video out for everybody to see, or join and become a channel member, because that would help out my channel immensely. Thank you, and shout out to all my channel members. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys for being channel members here and for all of your support. To everybody watching, whether you liked me, hated me, or liked this video, or hated this video, I thank you for sticking this long. Wherever you all are, please have a great, safe, happy, healthy day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Always support physical media, because it really, truly is the superior format, now more than ever. Godspeed.